It's 2 in the morning. You are finally deep asleep, and then that familiar pressure pulls you awake. You shuffle to the bathroom in the dark, come back, close your eyes, and just as you're drifting off again, it happens once more. If this sounds like your night, stay with me, because what I'm about to share has nothing to do with willpower, and it's probably not what you think. Most people assume the fix is simple: drink less water in the evening. But here's the problem. Even after cutting back, the waking up keeps happening. That's because the real cause is something quietly shifting inside your body after 50. And by the end of this video, I'll show you the one detail almost nobody explains. Here at Medical Insight, our mission is simple: give you clear, honest, evidence-based health information for the years after 50 without the fluff and without the fear-mongering. No fabricated claims, no guaranteed fixes, just what the research actually shows. If that sounds like your kind of channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming. Now let's talk about what's actually changing inside your body after 50 and why it has almost nothing to do with how much water you drink. Let's talk about what's actually changing after 50, because it's not what most people assume. First, there's a hormone shift happening quietly in the background. Your body produces something called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, and its job is simple. At night, it signals your kidneys to slow down urine production so you can sleep through without interruption. In younger adults, that signal rises reliably every evening. But peer-reviewed research on aging and kidney function suggests that this nighttime surge can weaken as we get older. When that happens, your kidneys may keep producing urine at close to the same rate around the clock, day and night, instead of easing off while you sleep. That's not about how disciplined you are with fluids. It's a hormonal pattern shifting underneath the surface. Second, there's something happening in your legs that most people never connect to this at all. During the day, while you're sitting or standing, gravity pulls fluid downward, and it can settle in your lower legs. You might notice your ankles feel a little puffier by the evening, or your socks leave a slight mark. The moment you lie down for bed, that fluid doesn't just disappear. It moves back into your bloodstream, your kidneys pick it up, and they start processing it, right when your body is supposed to be resting. Clinical research has described this kind of fluid redistribution as one of the lesser-known contributors to nighttime urination in older adults, especially for people with any degree of leg swelling. Here's what makes this so easy to miss. Picture 2 people, same age, drinking roughly the same amount of water in a day. One sleeps through the night without issue. The other is up 2 or 3 times. The difference usually isn't the water itself. It's what's happening with these 2 systems, the hormone signal and the fluid shift, working differently in each body. If you're someone who's already tried the obvious fix, less water before bed, and it barely made a dent, this is probably why. You were treating the wrong variable. So, quick question for you. Before I go further, type in the comments how many times you're currently waking up each night. I read through as many as I can, and it helps me know exactly who I'm talking to. Now, understanding these 2 shifts is actually the good news here, because once you know what's really going on, the fix isn't about restriction at all. It's about timing, and that's exactly what I want to walk you through next. Here's where most people accidentally make things worse without realizing it. When you're underhydrated during the day, whether you're busy, distracted, or just not thinking about it, your body can go into a kind of mild conservation mode. Then, when you finally drink water in the evening, even a normal amount, your kidneys may process it more actively than they would if you'd been steadily hydrated all day long. In other words, drinking most of your water late in the day can actually work against you. The fix isn't drinking less overall. It's shifting when you drink. Try front-loading your hydration earlier, aiming to get a good portion of your daily water in by the early afternoon, rather than saving it for evening. That gives your body hours to process it while you're up and active, not while you're trying to sleep. Then, starting around mid to late afternoon, begin a gentle taper. Not a hard stop, just a gradual slowdown. Smaller sips instead of full glasses, and easing off larger drinks like a big glass of water with dinner or a cup of tea right before bed. If you're worried this means being thirsty by bedtime, here's the reassuring part. When people hydrate consistently earlier in the day, evening thirst tends to settle down naturally. It's usually not restriction that causes discomfort. It's inconsistency. Type yes in the comments if you realize you've been doing the opposite of this, drinking most of your water in the evening. You're definitely not alone. Water timing is genuinely half the picture here. But there's something else working against you that almost nobody talks about, something sitting right there on your dinner plate. Here's the part almost nobody explains. Sodium doesn't just affect blood pressure. It also pulls water into your bloodstream. When you eat a salty meal, your blood sodium rises and your body responds by drawing more fluid into circulation. Your kidneys then have to process and clear that extra fluid, often over the next several hours. So picture this. You eat a heavier, saltier dinner around 6 or 7 in the evening, soup, cured meats, a salty sauce, canned foods. Your kidneys are still working through that fluid load well into the night, right when you're trying to sleep. This is exactly why some people who've already cut back on evening water are still waking up multiple times. The water was never really the problem. It's the sodium sitting in your dinner, quietly sending fluid straight to your bladder while you sleep. Caffeine works on a similar timeline. It's a mild diuretic, and depending on your body, its effects can still be measurable many hours after that afternoon coffee. The fix here is simple. If you enjoy saltier foods, shift them earlier, toward lunch instead of dinner. Make dinner your lightest, lowest sodium meal of the day, fresh vegetables, lean protein, flavored with herbs and lemon instead of salt. And if you're having caffeine, try having your last cup earlier in the day rather than mid-afternoon. The water isn't the enemy here. It's what's quietly riding along with your dinner. There's one more piece, and it takes less than 10 minutes before bed. Remember that fluid sitting in your legs during the day? Here's a simple way to deal with it before it becomes a problem overnight. About 45 minutes before bed, sit somewhere comfortable and elevate your legs. Even a slight angle helps for 20 to 30 minutes. This gives your body a chance to reabsorb and process that fluid while you're still awake instead of while you're asleep. Follow it with a short, gentle walk, just a few minutes around the house to help move things back into circulation properly. Then, right before getting into bed, fully empty your bladder. Don't rush it. Sit, relax, and give it an extra moment. A bladder that isn't completely emptied can trigger that urge to go sooner than one that's fully drained. I've heard from people who are skeptical this could make a real difference. It sounds almost too simple. But several mention noticing a change within just a week of trying it consistently, sleeping stretches they hadn't had in a long time. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. It's just working with your body instead of against it. Let's bring this together. It's not about how much water you drink. It's about when. Front-load your hydration earlier in the day. Taper gradually in the afternoon. Shift your saltier meals to lunch. And give your body that short pre-bed routine to handle the fluid already sitting in your legs. I want to be honest with you, though. For some people, nighttime urination has causes beyond timing. Certain medications, prostate changes, blood sugar issues, or even sleep apnea can all play a role. If you've tried this consistently for a couple of weeks and you're still waking up several times a night, that's worth a real conversation with your doctor, not because something is necessarily wrong, but because you deserve the full picture. This video is for general health education and doesn't replace personal medical advice. Now, here's what I want from you. Type in the comments what time you usually go to bed and how many times you're currently waking up. I want to see the pattern. Next week, I'm covering something else that quietly affects sleep after 50, and it has nothing to do with your bladder at all. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Take care of yourself, and here's to better nights ahead.